The story begins in Spain in 1519 when Hernan Cortés celebrates with the people as they embark on a new adventure to discover the New World. His horse Altivo was surprised by the shots fired that Cortés spilled his drink all over his armor. Cortés tells Altivo to keep his eyes forward and throws his cup at the wall, which hits a wanted poster of two criminals, Tulio, the black-haired man with a goatee, and Miguel, the blonde-haired musician. At an alley, Tulio and Miguel run a scam on unsuspecting sailors. The sailors return for another chance to roll the dice. But when they no longer have any money to pay them, they offer a map of the New World. Tulio firmly disagrees when Miguel looks closely. He is thrilled to find that it is a map of the legendary city of gold, El Dorado. Tulio still refuses to take up their offering, but is eventually convinced by Miguel after his relentless persuasion. Before continuing the game, the sailors suggested using their dice instead. To remain inconspicuous, Tulio agrees. Feeling the pressure, Tulio reluctantly throws the dice, and it luckily lands on 7. They both celebrate their win and grab their winnings when Tulio's loaded dice fall onto the ground. When the sailors realize they've been tricked, a soldier sneaks up from behind to apprehend them. Thanks to their quick thinking, though, Tulio and Miguel pretend to be fighting. They even grab swords and start attacking one another to make it seem real. Their fighting concludes with Miguel seemingly defeating Tulio, who slips on a roof tile. They later thank the crowd for buying into their acting and ran away. Soldiers gave chase across town until they landed in water barrels. With the soldiers not too far behind, they hid in it when it was suddenly loaded onto a ship. They're trapped inside the barrel when a chest is placed on top. Later that night, they thought they were finally freed when they found the same sailors they tricked back in town. It turns out that the sailors work for Hernan Cortés. Cortés is furious at Tulio and Miguel for stowing away on their ship. He intends to sell them both as slaves once they reach Cuba. Until then, they're locked up in the ship's brig. When Tulio falls short of an escape plan, Miguel suggests bribing Altivo with an apple in exchange for the prison keys. Tulio thinks it's a stupid idea given that a horse would not understand them. They were shocked when the keys fell to the ground and they escaped from the holding cell. They planned to escape with one of the rowboats. When Altivo doesn't stop squirming, Miguel realizes it wants the apple it was promised. Tulio tosses the apple at Altivo, which bounces off the ship's sails and into the water. Altivo mindlessly chased after it and jumped into the water. Worrying it might drown, Miguel jumps in and saves Altivo. Just when they thought it couldn't get worse, it started pouring. They even had to ride out the waves when a massive tsunami hit. They've drifted onto the boat for days with no food or water. While talking about regrets, they later realized they had landed on an island. They celebrate surviving a hellish ordeal when they suddenly find a skull on the ground. Fearing for their lives, Tulio suggests going out into the ocean with the rowboat, but Miguel recognizes the place to be on their map. Tulio is furious at Miguel for saving a map instead of getting food. Miguel insists that El Dorado is on the island and convinces Tulio on the trail to search for the legendary city of gold. After a long trek in the forest, overcoming hurdles at every turn, Miguel and Tulio arrive at a massive rock. Tulio is furious after realizing the map all points to the rock and thinks it's a fake. They start arguing with each other when Tulio suddenly shouts in frustration. Out of nowhere, they see a woman named Chell running from soldiers. Miguel and Tulio try to escape, but they quickly find themselves surrounded. Miguel and Tulio tried to explain that they were tourists, but the soldiers refused to listen and took them past the waterfall and into their village. They later realized that they were being taken to the elusive city of El Dorado. The duo is then greeted by two authoritative figures, Tzekel Khan, the overly zealous high priest of El Dorado, and Chief Tanabok, the gentle and wise leader of the tribe. They mistake Miguel and Tulio for being gods and welcome them to El Dorado. Tzekel Khan sees Chell and pulls her aside. He asks Miguel and Tulio about her punishment after being caught stealing from the temple. Chell pleads with her life, claiming her only wish is to serve the gods. Tulio pardons her and asks them to release her. When Chief Tannenbach asks why he chose to visit them now, Tzekel Khan gets furious, telling him he's in no position to question the gods. For his transgressions, Tzekel Khan asks Miguel and Tulio to smite the chief. Realizing that the situation is getting out of hand, Tulio pulls Miguel aside when a volcano in the background is fortuitously about to erupt. Their argument goes out of hand and Tullio's outburst coincidentally also stops the volcano from bursting, which made everyone think Tullio was doing it. Because of that, everyone else was fooled into believing they were gods. Chief Tannabok and Zekel Khan led Miguel and Tullio to the temple where they will stay. Upon reaching the top, Zekel Khan proposes a reverent ceremony to commemorate their arrival, while Chief Tannabok suggests preparing a feast in their honor. When Miguel and Tullio couldn't decide, they asked to have them both. When they thought everyone was gone, Miguel and Tullio celebrate for tricking everyone into thinking they are gods. Little did they know that Chell was inside and she heard everything. Having heard their secret, Chell blackmailed them into letting her in on their scam. She claims that they need her help with the tribe's culture and traditions. When asked about her motives, she explains that she dreams of better things and going on an adventure. Worried they might get caught, Miguel and Tullio were forced to accept Chell's offer. In exchange for being their guide and helping them understand the tribe's traditions, Miguel and Tullio promise to take Chell with them when they decide to leave El Dorado. As night falls, the city of El Dorado prepares a glorious feast in their honor. Everyone enjoyed the night without inhibitions as they drank, ate, and danced the night away. When morning came, Miguel and Tullio were woken up by Zekel Khan, who prepared the reverend ceremony as requested. Zekel Khan then presents them with a sack as a tribute to the gods. Miguel and Tullio initially thought it was gold, but when Zekel Khan revealed the contents, they were shocked to find a man inside it. They were horrified that Zekel Khan intended to sacrifice the young man to the massive whirlpool below. Miguel quickly stopped Zekel Khan, to which Tullio explains that the stars are not aligned for this tribute. Worried that the so-called gods have not received any tribute, Chief Tannabok offers them gold as the people's tribute. When Miguel and Tullio are pleased with the tribute, the servants proceed with the ceremony and toss the gold into the whirlpool below. Miguel and Tullio panic, confused about what they just did, when Chell explains that sending it to Xibalba means sending it to the spirit world past the massive whirlpool. Thanks to Chell's quick thinking, she convinced Chief Tannabok to keep the gold in the temple instead. Miguel and Tullio start planning their escape and meet with Chief Tannabok to ask how long it would take to make a ship. When Chief Tannabok tells them it will take them weeks to make one, Tullio sarcastically remarks, wondering if Zekel Khan can do it faster, being competitive with the High Priest. Chief Tannabok claims he can do it in 3 days. Miguel and Tullio return to the temple, worried about keeping up with the facade for 3 more days. Tullio suggests grabbing whatever gold they can fit in on the rowboat and leaving before they get caught. Miguel claims that he's just overthinking it. Chell suggests that Miguel check the city while she keeps Tullio distracted. When Tullio realizes Miguel was gone, Chell worked her feminine wiles on him to keep his mind off of things. Miguel went on to his own to explore the city. When he couldn't find anybody, he found a guard and asks where everyone was. The guard explains that the streets have been cleared for the city to be cleansed per his orders. Miguel was confused as he didn't remember giving such orders. The guard revealed that the high priest gave them the orders. When he witnessed a guard apprehending a citizen caught outside their home, Miguel reprimands them and tells them to take the day off. Miguel then tried to help the young man, but he ran away, fearing punishment. When he saw the people afraid of him, he tried to confront them by playing the guitar. Eventually, the people warmed up to him. Miguel spent the day playing with the people, which bothered Zekel Khan when he saw them mingling with the citizens. He claims it wasn't what he imagined their god to be and confides in Tullio. Zekel Khan claims that the people will not respect him if they do not fear him, so he suggests sacrificing to keep people in check. When he was undecided, Tullio told him that he needed to consult with Miguel before deciding. Tullio finds Miguel playing with the citizens and reprimands him for not following their plan of laying low. While arguing, the high priest shows up out of nowhere and claims that the gods shouldn't be playing ball like this. Miguel and Tullio later find themselves in the arena for hoops against 15 of Chief Tannabok's men. With only 1 point left for the opposing team to win, Chell suddenly has a brilliant idea. She hands them a pangolin, which conveniently looks like a ball. The pangolin tried its best to score, only for Miguel and Tullio, to which they caught up to the opponent's score. The game is tied, and Miguel and Tullio mistakenly grab a typical ball instead of the pangolin. When they realized it was just an ordinary ball, Miguel and Tullio gave everything they had to get the winning point. As everyone celebrates Miguel and Tulio's victory, Tzekel Khan asks the so-called gods if they want to sacrifice the losing team as punishment. After hearing the high priest suggest offering the losing team, Miguel loses his composure and declares that from this day forward, no sacrifices will be needed. That said, he then banishes the high priest, claiming that his services will no longer be required. Although still shocked to hear Miguel's decision, Tzekel Khan notices that Miguel is bleeding and concludes he may not be who he claims to be. The next day, Miguel checks on the progress of the ship they requested. After a quick inspection, Miguel claims the boat is no good and makes many excuses. Chief Tannenbach quickly saw through him and told him that he could always stay with them if he wanted. Miguel is torn as he doesn't want to part ways with Tulio, so he returns to the temple to consult him. He finds Tulio flirting with Chell, who unknowingly blurts out to forget about Miguel. Little did he know that Miguel heard him and was hurt when he replaced him with Chell. After uncovering their secret, Tzekel Khan plans on summoning an ancient beast to reveal their secret to everyone else. Tzekel Khan summons a giant stone jaguar to attack Tulio and Miguel. They tried to run away, but the jaguar caught up to them. Tulio and Miguel lure the jaguar to the volcano away from everyone else. The stone jaguar was too heavy that it cracked the ground and drowned in molten lava. When they thought it was all over, the stone jaguar emerged from the lava, cornering them at the cliff. With no way out, Tulio and Miguel pretended to fight yet again. They tricked Tzekel Khan into thinking they were fighting when they suddenly sucker punched him when he got close enough. Tzekel Khan withstood their attacks and the jaguar charged at them. The stone jaguar was too heavy that the cliff broke and Tzekel Khan fell into the whirlpool below. With Tzekel Khan gone and the jaguar defeated, the people of El Dorado celebrate Tulio and Miguel's victory. Tzekel Khan survived the fall and washed up outside the city when he found Cortez and his men. Believing Cortez to be the real god in the prophecies, Tzekel Khan offers to lead him to El Dorado. The next day, Tulio prepares to leave El Dorado with Chell while Miguel dons his clothes, intent on staying. They're both still at odds with each other, unable to tell each other their feelings. Even in their final moments, Miguel would have struggled to say goodbye to his friend if not for Chief Tannenbach, who convinced him to do so. They later see smoke on the horizon, realizing Cortez is fast approaching. Chief Tannenbach prepares his people for war. Miguel advises fighting against them as they will surely lose to Cortez and his men. Tulio suggests using the boat to ram against the rock pillars under the waterfall to block the entrance to the city, despite knowing that he will lose all the gold they have on the boat. Their plan goes awry and Tulio's ship is about to be crushed underneath the statue. Miguel and Altivo jumped on the ship to unfurl its sail. Knowing full well that he couldn't return to the city, they successfully crashed the ship into the pillar, causing a cave in the entrance to prevent Cortez and his men from finding the city. By the time Cortez and his men arrive, they found the entrance blocked. Cortez is furious at Tzekel Khan, who seems to have lied about the entrance. They take him away, intent on enslaving him while searching for El Dorado in a different direction. Although they lost all the gold, Miguel and Tulio made up and embarked on a new adventure with Chell and Altivo, knowing that El Dorado was forever safe. The end. Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos and make sure to subscribe and tap that bell icon to be notified about our latest videos. We'll see you next time.